Representative McGee. We have Mr. Taj Echols.
I ask this one fundamental question. What is the true measure of a man? Could it be man's beginning? If so, there's a man sitting before us today who was born the oldest son to a single mother of 6 children and raised in one of South Florida's roughest communities, the Naranja housing projects. Thrust into a position to enforce rules at home while having rules forced upon him by society. It is needless to say, the reaction was a brewing social time bomb waiting to explode. We all know the statistic very well. A product of his or her own environment, who had no chance to survive past the age of 21. A label and reality that is all too real. Or could the measure of a man be the challenges and adversities one faces in life? If so, there's a man sitting before us today, where to the world, the numbers speak volumes. An IQ of 78, suspended from school more than 15 times, scoring a 580 on the SAT, where I might add, they give you 200 points for writing your name. A 1.9 grade point average, facing a 20-year prison sentence on 4 felony charges, and possibly the most startling number of all, losing a father and brother to the hands of murder. All the statistical requirements of being a product of one's environment. Petty crimes, dismissing the school system, living fast while dying slowly were his motives. All the while, potential life advocates around him were not willing to show him that other alternatives existed. Luckily for us, there is a higher being who is merciful and has given us the ability to overcome those and other wrongs. Perhaps the measure of a man is the ability to overcome that which is deemed impossible. If so, there's a man sitting before us today who was determined to change a sure destiny of failure. An individual who began to take part on a journey that led him to one final conclusion. The American dream is neither material, nor is it only available to a certain class or race of people. It is simply having a chance to do what was not done the first time around. Armed with this revelation, this individual took aim at every target that was intended to stunt his growth. Once labeled with mental retardation, this man now boasts 3 degrees as a graduate of Howard University and Thurgood Marshall School of Law, and is nationally recognized. Oh, but it gets better. And is nationally recognized as the author of Amir, I Can is American. A former assistant state attorney, this man now serves as a founding partner at the Kionne McGee law firm, an assistant regional counsel for Miami-Dade County, president of Transition Incorporated, legal counsel to HBCU law enforcement executives and administrators, on the board of Greater Miami Service Corps, and a mentor with big brothers and big sisters. Now I could go on, but we will be here until the break of dawn. So I'll hold back those other awards and accolades. On August 14, 2012, the measure of this man shattered yet another miscalculated diagnosis from his adolescent years, as he was overwhelmingly elected as Florida State Representative District 117.
I, Kionne McGee, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Kionne McGee, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and the government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida.
that I am duly qualified to hold office
I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of this state,
under the Constitution of this state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of the member of the House of Representatives,
the duties of the House of Representatives,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
The important part, so help me God.
So help me God.
By saying thank you to all of you who took out so much time out of your schedule to be here this evening. And thank you to Mr. Reed, who opened up the doors here to show us this beautiful school. And those dignitaries who have come here and have given their time. And I just want to say thank you. And just one point of privilege before I move on, I would like for all of you to give yourselves a round of applause, because without you, I would not be here. You know, it was said that mental retardation is a serious disability to overcome. It was also said, for a man who has served time in a jail cell, that disability would be difficult to overcome. It was even said that graduating high school with a 1.99 GPA, scoring a 580 on the SATs would be difficult to overcome. They also reminded me that growing up in Orlando, the housing project, the place where we receive boxed cheese, powdered milk, mayonnaise, and mustard, peanut butter, that those things were just too difficult to overcome. They even said that losing a father and losing a brother and losing other family members and good friends to murder were just too many obstacles for any one person to overcome. But then, the nail in their coffin, or should I say mine, as they thought, was that they coupled all of those things together. They wrote a story. And in this story, the first chapter was called Failure. And this chapter had pretty much every ingredient of a film. It began with characters who basically said, no way can you make it. Throw in the towel. You're no one. Your family didn't come from that pedigree family. You don't have what it takes to move on. You cannot make it. The odds are just too much against you. So they sat me down and they told me that story. Do you really think with the 1.9 GPA, 20 suspensions, missed over 100 days of school, do you really think that you can walk into a major university and graduate with a BA degree? Do you really think with a criminal record that you can walk into the state attorney's office and defend the Constitution as a prosecutor? Do you think for 1 second that you, who've got no more things trailing you, do you think for 1 second that you can walk into any employment with any employer and ask them to give you a job when you know in fact you don't have the capabilities to read beyond a 6th grade level? Do you know those disabilities and the limitations? Had I looked at the statistics, I would have answered in the affirmative. But statistics don't drive me.
Conservator of the Arts, we commissioned one of our best artists, one of our best award-winning artists, to draw a portrait of you, for you to hang in your office in Tallahassee, for you to always be reminded of the people from 117. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm looking at the picture, and I see the image. But beneath that image, I see something else. I see the countless hours that went into that photo. I see the vision that went into that photo. I see the hard work of somebody having to sacrifice so much time over the years to get to where they needed to be. But more than anything, that picture reminds me of my mother, Kionne McGee, who bore 6 of us, and who's here today to witness this moment of her son receiving such accolades, but more than anything, for her to witness that never giving up on any one of her children, and you never giving up on anyone in this community, shall one day bring forth a dream of all of our children. 117, we got some work to do. Stand with me. Stand with Joe Garcia. Stand with Cedric McMahon. Stand with the Democratic Party. Stand with the Republican Party. Stand with us that we take the things to that party. Thank you, Mr. Reed. Amazing. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.